Hey everyone, this is Mike from my private library. I'm on my third book review, and this is The Secret History by Donna Tartt, who wrote The Goldfinch, which won the Pulitzer Prize for Literature last year, which I read back in January, and I really liked. So this was her debut novel back in, I want to say, the early to mid '90s, and she's only written three. I forget the name of her other book. I think it's something like The Little Friend. But I don't really have plans to read that. But after I read The Goldfinch, I read up a little bit on Tart, and they said this one was kind of an interesting book. And the whole premise is that it's not really a whodunit. It's called a inverted whodunit or a whydunit, where you find out who done it at the beginning of the book, and the rest of the book is explaining why did this happen. So specifically, this book begins with a murder, and you find out, okay, this one character in a group of friends gets killed, and basically the rest of the book, or a good chunk of the book, I'm going to say about half of it, is them telling you, okay, why did this group of friends decide to suddenly kill this one friend? And for a while, it felt like it was going to be the whole book, and this is like a 550 page book, and to be totally honest, about halfway through I was like, okay, this is getting it's dragging a bit. I mean, how can you really stretch 500 pages out of why did you kill this kid, especially because she kind of makes it clear really quickly, okay, they killed this kid because this kid's a dick who knows too much. But about halfway through, all of a sudden the book switches to like part two, almost like The Goldfinch had a couple parts. So really only half the book is spent figuring out, okay, why do they do it? And then the second half of the book is basically them covering their tracks. So it did drag a little bit. Not really as gripping as The Goldfinch. It took a little bit to get started, whereas The Goldfinch basically from the beginning keeps you engaged, and then at the very end brings you back and keeps you going again. This one really kind of dragged for a bit, and it was a little bit of a struggle for me to finish. It took me longer than I would have liked to. I want to say the 12th to the 4th, so that's about 3 weeks, which is kind of slow for me. And I kind of felt it. It took a little bit of effort to actually read this after a while, but still, it was interesting. It was a good book. Donna Tartt has a kind of distinctive writing style. Very very flowery and puffed. I guess you can say. She has sentences that go on as long as paragraphs. Kind of running on, saying a lot without saying a lot. Which, I mean, I guess it's her first book. She gets a little leeway with it, and she does make it work. The whole book is about a bunch of kids who are studying ancient Greek. A dead language, a very archaic. I don't want to call it a long-winded language, but complicated. And I guess her own writing style kind of reflects that. But I read one review on Goodreads who kind of put the idea in my head. It's like, this is her first book, and she gets away with the kind of writing that if you've taken any kind of higher level writing class, the teacher would, give you a C and tell you, quit screwing around, get back to the basics. But I guess she does make it work. So, not bad. I do like The Goldfinch better. You can definitely tell from here to The Goldfinch, she definitely improved upon her craft. It's still an interesting story, interesting characters. You do get emotionally invested, but it does drag a little bit towards the middle. Once it turns into part two, you're kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop, and even when it does, it doesn't totally feel like it. It's kind of sort of sprung upon you, and yeah, I don't want to call it anticlimactic because it's not, but everything kind of gets resolved really quickly without too much of a build-up, and yeah, it's okay, not bad, pretty good. Definitely The Goldfinch definitely deserved the Pulitzer Prize. This, I don't know if it would have back then, but interesting if you like The Goldfinch, worth checking out. It's her earlier work. So yeah, go check out the blog, myprivatelibrary.tumblr.com. Like and subscribe. If you have any other questions, just let me know. See you guys later.